Hey folks, how's it going? Dr. Spin. In my quest to find the best albums of 2021, I've been working through these weekly eliminations. Many of these are albums that I've listened to for a while, I can advocate for very strongly, but only one shall pass going on to the top 20. So today's elimination is going to be between Lattimore and her album Silver Ladders and Lyle Workman's Uncommon Measures. Now, Lattimore is another situation where this is an album I have a lot of subjective connection to. It's a sort of an ambient release by Lattimore, who's a harpist. And one of the reasons that I really connected with this album too, once I kind of figured out how to key into it, was it reminded me a lot of the work that Seaborg Thorne was doing a couple of years ago with guitar. And he's still doing this stuff now, but as Seaborg Thorne has gone on, it's become more and more about sounds and more about ambience. But his earlier recordings really had a lot of the sounds of the guitar, just exploring the edges of what's possible in ambient music with guitar. That's what I hear Lattimore doing on Silver Ladders, except for on harp. She has lots of layering, lots of loops going on, lots of textural things she's doing with the harp, but it never gets to the point where it stops really sounding like a harp. And so the end result of the album is very moody and very atmospheric, kind of like the soundtrack that you'd have if you went out walking on a cold, rainy night, perhaps with everything slightly draped in black and white. So it gives you that sense of just kind of wandering out into the darkness. Great disc, love it a lot, and it's been very functional for me as far as just having evening music, especially for the kids. We go to sleep at night. This is one of the first albums I'll go to, just as far as having a soothing music in the background that's also not boring, intellectually stimulating nonetheless. You put that up against Lyle Workman, and this gave Lyle Workman a lot more trouble than it probably should have, because I do have a lot of subjective connection with it, and to be honest, it's an album that I've played a lot this year. But man, I cannot mess with the amount of just overall genius that Lyle Workman exudes on this album, okay? Lyle Workman is a guitar player. He's a studio guitar player that's played for years on countless albums. I kind of got exposed to him through Jellyfish, and believe it or not, through a band that he was very first in called Bourgeois Tag. Way back in the day, had this one hit that I really liked. And in getting into this, I discovered that Lyle Workman was a guitar player for that band. But he's also done a lot of movie soundtracks. He did the movie soundtrack on The 40-Year-Old Virgin. And so those two different components of his musicianship collide on Uncommon Measures. And the end result is this really great rock orchestra hybrid that in many ways I think compares pretty favorably to a lot of Frank Zappa's mid-70s orchestral work. Not like the chamber work when he was working on full orchestra things like orchestral favorites, the London Symphony Orchestra recording. So it's that big. Plus it's got this really great roster of guest musicians, all fantastic, top-notch studio guys. Vinny Colaiuta makes an appearance on there. I really love the exuberant energy that the album has, and I really love the amount of just overall sheer musicianship and thought that goes into this album. So as much as I enjoy Mary Lattimore's album, as much as I think that there's its own genius going on with it, really difficult not to put Lyle Workman the winner in this particular matchup. So in this case, Lyle Workman will go on. So check this out. Check out both these tracks. At the end, there'll be a track from both albums. Check them both out. And you tell me if you think I'm on the right track with this stuff. And if so, and if not, just comment below. And while you're at it, like and subscribe, share the video out with your friends. And until I see you next time, catch you on the flip side.